Let me first of all recognize our mates, Honorable Reginald Ostry, our Senior Minister, Senator the Honorable Cassidy Laville, our Minister of Public Works, Honorable Catherine Daniel, our Parliamentary Representative for the Collio constituency, my other Cabinet and Parliamentary colleagues present, Ms. Corinne Privot, the Acting Secretary to the Cabinet, Mr. Roland Roy, the Permanent Secretary and Minister of Public Works and other Permanent Secretaries, my colleagues and friends, Dr. Colin McIntyre, Ms. Miriam Blanchard, and Ms. Charles, and of course the contractor, Mr. Chris Walter of Caribbean Concrete Limited, Ms. Leandra Bell Charles, the chairperson of the Dublanc Village Council, our Chief Technical Officer, Mr. Lancelot, our dear pastor, Pastor Hilton, who prayed for us so wonderfully this afternoon. Thank you. Other invited guests, members of the media, and most importantly, the wonderful residents of Dublanc, Bioche, and Collio. Good afternoon to you. I am very happy to be here. Next time you guys need to have a technical person on board. And so. I'm very happy to be here to celebrate with you the clear indication of the commencement of your bridge. And I want to give homage to your parliamentary representative, my friend, Honorable Daniel, for her concern, the concern that she has shown in the age of technology. Why do we have this long microphone stuff? Could it be something more simpler and so on? That's the time of O.J. Serafin as well. Well, I want to really recognize the concern that your parliament has shown. Lady D has a different style to most people, but one cannot question the fact that she has delivered to this constituency during her time as parliamentary representative. And continues to make a tremendous contribution to the welfare and well-being of this constituency. Sometimes, we hear criticisms when one or two things are happening, but we also want to hear loud voices when things are happening in the constituency and in Dominica by extension. And there are priorities in this village, this beautiful village of Dublanc. We have to continue to work on the housing interventions and to ensure that we can continue to improve the facilities for the many fishermen and fisher folk who rely on fishing for their livelihoods. And when we look at how we have to manage the affairs of our own families and our own domestic situation, one could have said, well, we should use this $1.something million and put into housing and simply put a footpath across the river so we can get to the school and we can get to the playing field, because we have an access to the village, to the other side of the village, and we have access to this side of the village. But we understand and appreciate how important it is for vehicular traffic between these two parts of this wonderful village. And therefore, based on what you have said to us through your parliament, you have declared this bridge to be priority number one in this village. And so the government now is delivering to you that which you have told the government is the priority number one in that village of Dublanc. And so we're happy to be here to celebrate this with you. As a matter of fact, you all know that you would have had a bridge long time ago, but we got whispers from the villagers say, look, Sherry, we don't want Bailey Bridge, we want a concrete bridge you want in the village and so on. So I had to pull back the Bailey Bridge and wait for the design of the concrete bridge so we can build a concrete bridge here in Dublanc. Because there are some people who say, well, Hurricane Maria happened 3 years ago and so on, why is now we're doing the bridge? The fact is we could have built a bridge back then utilizing the Bailey Bridge system. So we're here today. And this is happening, my friends, and the parallel is correct when she says that nothing happens before its time. It is really the Lord who giveth. We as your representatives are just the instruments that the Lord has placed there to carry out his work on behalf of his people. And so we have to be grateful for when the Lord is blessing us. Whether we believe in our minds that it is too late or it could have come, it should have come earlier, that is besides the point. The point remains you are getting the bridge built, and in the next 3 or so months, you will be able to drive and walk over a brand new bridge costing in excess of $1 million being spent in a small village. And I don't think anybody in Dublanc, I know Dublanc very well, these are wonderful people. I don't think anybody in Dublanc would have gotten upset with the government. If the government would come to say to you, you have to wait a few more months because COVID-19 has dealt a serious blow to our finances. That there are challenges. That the world is still in lockdown and people cannot travel to the extent that they would like to travel so they can come to Dominica and we can see greater economic activity taking place and an increase in revenue. You would understand. Because every one of us as families in Dominica have had to make certain adjustments to our expenditure because of the global reality confronting us here as well in Dominica. But no, this government has always said the prudent and responsible management of the state affairs is important. And because we have forged great relationships with international partners, and because we have been able to manage the Citizenship by Investment program that these funds will come from, so this bridge will be financed with resources from the Citizenship by Investment program. Because we have been managing this CBI program in such a prudent and responsible manner, we can see it continue to be a major source of non-tax revenue for our country, especially in these very difficult and trying times. There are countries in this world that have set aside all public sector investment programs because their focus now is on the management of COVID-19 and seeing themselves through this difficult period because their revenues have dropped dramatically. And once your revenue drops, what do? If you're taking home less pay than before, you have to sit down with your wife and your children and say, well, we have to cut this, we have to cut that. If your maximum spend for top-up is $50 for the month, once you use that, then who wants to get you have to call you because you can't call them. And that's the reality. But what we have done as a government is not to cut on things that are important to the people of Dominica. For example, ensuring that public officers get paid on time. That persons who are engaged in the NEP and who are doing a wonderful job in this constituency, you're planting all the flowers and maintaining the flowers along the west coast from Collio to Dublanc. You're really doing a wonderful job, the NEP here in this part of Dominica. I think so far the only village, only constituency that's beating you is the Vegas constituency in terms of the flowers. But the way you go in there, you're still a distant second, but eventually you may get there. But it's really a beautiful experience to drive from Collio through Bioche and through Dublanc to see how the sense of pride that you take in maintaining the environment of this constituency. And so we are true to maintaining the National Employment Program because we know how important it is to so many individuals. And our senior citizens who are 70 and over, ensuring that we can continue to provide for them. Our students who are overseas, there are countries in the world that decided because of the coronavirus, students to stay at their homes and not register for the school year. We haven't told one student don't go to school because of COVID-19. And yes, sometimes the payments may be a bit late by a few months, but we have maintained the payments of our students studying overseas in an unprecedented way. Unprecedented way. Our students who go from college to college, we provide them with a transportation allowance. Not only creating access for them by way of free tuition at the state college, but giving them the means of taking advantage of this access by paying the bus fare for so many of our young people in this constituency and across Dominica. Our secondary school students, back in the days, you recall, before this Labour Party came into government, before I became Prime Minister of this country, there are many of our students here in this constituency who would stay away from school, secondary school, after they passed the common entrance. And back in the days was a handful of us from Dublanc who attended secondary school. And among that handful, some of us couldn't go to secondary school because our father is a fisherman. There are times the tide is high and they can't go out and sea, and no fish. No fish means no money. And children had to stay home. But today, for the last 15 years or so, our students have been getting free transportation to secondary school and back home, ensuring that our children can go to school and learn and come back and make a contribution to the development of this part of Dominica and to make their families proud. No government has ever spent monies in this constituency where housing is concerned. None. Like myself, you in Dublanc, you were faithful to the Dominica Freedom Party. We went out and we voted for the Freedom Party, but Mistress had different priorities back in the days. So when a hurricane hit us or a storm hit us, our house leaking, we couldn't go to a pal rep then and ask to fix my house for me. No. But this Dominica Labour Party understand what people's development means. And the need for us to be true to what it says, what it said in the book of Matthew, that we have to look among the least among us, and to ensure that with the resources that we have, the little resources that we have, we can improve the livelihoods and the standard of living of every single person in Dominica. We may not always do it in the time frame that we would like, all of us would like to see. But we do it. And as the poet rightly said, when this Labour Party makes a promise to you, it may take a little longer than all of us would like, but we do deliver to you, the people of Dominica. Because I did not come into politics to bullshit people. I came to make a contribution to improve people's lives. And we're not going to make promises to you that we cannot keep. When we make a promise, we intend to keep it, and we do everything by the grace of God to make it happen. To make it happen. And you have seen, for example, my friends, how we have been able to manage COVID-19 here in Dominica with the cooperation of you, the citizens of Dominica. There are some who, at the start of COVID-19, preached doom and gloom on Dominica, that 15,000 Dominicans would contract COVID-19 and thousands would die. Not praying against it, hoping that it would happen. There are people in this country who like to see Dominica in poverty, in destruction, so that they can say, well, yeah, scared not do nothing with Dominica. Time for Labour to go. But if we want what is good for our country, and if we say that we are Christian people, we should be praying for Dominica's development. We should be praying for Dominica's prosperity. We should be praying for Dominica's safety. Because as Maria taught us, when hurricane came, it did not only affect Roosevelt's Skerrit, it affected every single individual in Dominica. I drive on the same roads as Dominicans. I don't have a helicopter. As a matter of fact, when the government buy me a little vehicle, people complain about, oh, what's carried in that vehicle and so on. You know, you should have a bicycle to go to work and so on. So, you know, I'm the least of the apostles, you know. So we have to recognize that the Lord has been good to us, and He has tested us. When you look at a small country like Dominica, we don't have oil to export. We don't have diamonds and gold. What we have is our people and our natural beauty and splendor. That's what we have. And when your country is affected in 2010 with a tropical system, 2013, 2015, 2017, and 2008 with the financial crisis that lasted for about 8 or so years, and the oil crisis, and then COVID-19 comes about. Look at where we are as a country. The glass is not full yet, but we can't say the glass is empty. No, we have to give the good Lord thanks for what he has done for this country. Because the reality is, my dear brothers and sisters, that if, say for example, the United States of America were to have been impacted by 226% of its GDP, it would have had serious problems. And a small country like Dominica, 226% of GDP worth of destruction. Every single home affected, every single business affected, bridges washed away, schools destroyed. And the government had to rebuild this country. This country. And when we all woke up after Hurricane Maria, we all said Dominica finished. That's it. We had no hope. Many of us woke up with no hope. Because when we looked around our own little dwelling and we saw the destruction, and we heard of the destruction in the whole part of Dominica, where would we get the monies to build Dominica? And while I was out there trying to raise funds days after the hurricane, there were people who were out there telling these people, do not help Dominica. This is why, my friends, it is so important that when you're making a decision to vote a government, you must make a conscious and a wise decision. It's a very simple principle and understanding that if you want to lead a people, you must first love them. You cannot show people you care about them if and when you get to the leadership of any institution. You must have a life of engaging people, loving people. The only way you can understand people's circumstance is when you place yourself in their own circumstance. And this is why I tell people, when these people, they love Facebook junkies and so forth, who criticize Rudolph Skerritt for this and for that, people must understand they're not necessarily criticizing me, because I'm the least of the apostle. They're criticizing the work that we're doing on behalf of the people of Dominica. And there are people who believe that we should not give anybody free education or free college education. There are people who believe that we should give nobody free homes. And the bus drivers had a little demonstration there, some of them who were misguided. Before that, the opposition was saying we should not give no businesses grants, it should be loans. Now to create mischief, we're saying we should not give them loans, we should give them grants. So I really want to commend my friend Lady D for her leadership in this constituency, for the discipline that she brings to the job, for her commitment to this constituency, and for the results that we're seeing as a result of her own commitment and dedication. And the follow-up, as the Minister of Public Works indicated, that she makes, and the inquiries that she makes. And today we are seeing that benefit. And to say to my friends in Colliho, very soon we will be in Colliho for the commencement of certain sections of the retaining wall in Colliho, and to speak to you about the second phase of the Colliho River Defense Walls. I have approved for some of the interventions, and we will come to you in the month of May, God's willing, so we can commence the construction of the retaining walls in this wonderful village of Colliho. And of course, we will speak to you at some other time on the housing development in Platmape. That will not only benefit the residents of Colliho, but will also benefit the residents of Dublanc and Biosh, because you know we have a land issue in this part of this constituency. So we are redesigning the interventions in Platmapier so that we can make more residences available so that more people can benefit from these residences. I know we've always had challenges along the bay and getting people out there. You know, when the tide is high, the water comes in, it floods the basement. But people have been living there for all their lives. I remember coming in to see my friend's mother, may her soul rest in peace, and may his soul rest in peace over there. Bertrand, you know, every time I come to Dublanc, I remember Bertrand very, very, very well. Very, very sincere man, and who made a tremendous contribution to the development of Dublanc and Dominica as a whole. You know, I think to me, there's something we should name in this village after Bertrand. You know, because of the depth of his contribution in this part. You know. But I'm very happy for you, my friends, and I wanted to come to Biosh, not to see the space between the two rivers, between the rivers, but to bring good news to you in a tangible way. So now that I have delivered the bridge to you, through the grace of God, you will see me more often in Dublanc. You will see me more often in Dublanc. Because I know that was foremost, and every time I drive by, you know, because sometimes I'll be going to my own constituency, and I love driving through the village and going onto the highway and so forth, but I couldn't have done so for so long. But I look forward to be able to do that and to stop and say hi to you from time to time. I love this village very much, and I love this constituency very much. And I always say, you know, and maybe in my future political life, I want to be the power rep for the Collioure constituency. You know, really, really sincere and genuine people. They don't play games. If they're with you, they're with you. You know, and they have been with us steadfastly and sincerely for an extended period of time. And we look forward to the continued mutual benefit in this wonderful marriage that the Dominican Labour Party has had with you in this wonderful constituency of Collioure. Thank you very much. God bless you, and God bless this wonderful country, Dominica.
Thank you, PM, for your encouraging words. Now we move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the signing of the contract. So I will now call on Mr. Chris Walter of Caribbean Corporate Limited to go to the table, and I will join in the signing. Thank you very much. So now we come to the end of our program, and we invite Mrs. Leandra Bell Charles, the chairperson of the Dublanc Village Council, to give us the vote of thanks, please.
I'm too short. Thank you very much. When the signing took place, I didn't hear a loud applause from the residents of Dublanc. It should be much louder than that because we waited very long for this moment. Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Honorable Reginald Austri, the Senior Minister and Minister for Housing and Urban Development. Senator, the Honorable Cassane Laville, Minister for Public Works and Digital Economy. Honorable Catherine Daniel, Parliamentary Representative for the Collioure constituency. Other honorable members of Cabinet and Parliament. Ms. Karen Privot, the Acting Secretary to the Cabinet. Mr. Roland Royer, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Public Works and the Digital Economy. Other Permanent Secretaries. Mr. Chris Walter, Caribbean Construction Limited. Mr. Emil Lancelot, Chief Technical Officer. Pastor Hilton. Other invited guests. Members of the media. Residents of Dublanc, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon. That's the attitude. In everything we do, we must give thanks to the Lord Almighty. And today, we say thank you, Lord, for making this day and this great occasion a reality. To the government of Dominica, we express our utmost gratitude for the funding of this project, which will go a long way in enhancing the infrastructural development of our community. A mandate which we, the residents of Dublanc, are happy that you have undertaken as part of your plan for the continued infrastructural development in our community and by extension in Dominica. When the construction phase is completed, which will be in the next few months, this bridge will greatly enhance a better flow of traffic and also the aesthetics of the community to residents of Dublanc and also to those who visit our community on a very regular basis. So now the Honorable Prime Minister has no excuse to pass us straight. He has to come and drive on the bridge over and over again. Honorable Catherine Daniel, we say a big special thank you for your support. You have really journeyed. You have really journeyed with us during our quest for the construction of our bridge, and we are indeed thankful. May God continue to bless you. Psalm 30, verse 5 says, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning." Whilst we, the residents of Dublanc, may not have physically wept during the absence of our bridge, we have indeed lamented its absence over the years. For your patience, I would like to say to the residents of Dublanc, thank you. And I also ask for your continued patience during the construction works, because there will be interruptions, but we cannot expect development if there's no inconvenience. So we beg for your level of tolerance. To all who worked behind the scenes, we say thanks for your hard work. in ensuring that today's activity is a great success. Whilst my role here today is to express thanks, I wish, however, to congratulate the contractor on being awarded this contract. On behalf of our residents, I wish further to implore on you, Mr. Chris Walters, the need for a speedy completion of this project, because we are approaching the hurricane season, and this bridge is critical. You know, after Maria, when the bridge was demolished, we used to say this is the French side and the Dutch side. So as of July, if God spare our lives, we will not be saying that anymore. And I also want to say thanks to Ms. Daniel and by extension the government of Dominica for the pedestrian crossing that was given to us. Because we used to jump stones like a long time, pull up our pants to cross the river. And with the construction of this crossing, it was much easier for our children to get to school, our elderly to get to the health center. And with the construction of the bridge, which we will be right here in the next 3 months to open, I want to say thanks, thanks, thanks. I think the people of Dublanc who are here, I think we need to stand up and give a standing ovation for this long-awaited bridge, the signing contract of the bridge. So people of Dublanc, let us show our gratitude and our continued support. And we can assure you, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit and the government of Dominica, that for sure, during my term as chairperson of the council, we expect more. Because with Ms. Daniel on our side and working along with her, we know she has plans for our community, and therefore we will rally with her to ensuring that the plans that are on the table or in the making for our community gets done. So I want to say thanks again to everyone, and please do have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you for the vote of thanks. And we can promise you we'll be monitoring the implementation of the project. As I said in Good Hope, our minister in particular is very serious on project monitoring. So we have our sign engineers and QSCs on the project. And I know Mr. Walter will deliver. He has done that before. And it works good with us. So have no fear. Okay, we'll ensure that happens. I also want to say a special thanks to my SAO, Miss Unijon, and the team for doing a wonderful job over the past 3 days. And also the Chief Protocol Officer and a team for ensuring that everything is done properly. So tomorrow we move to Layu at the emergency shelter at Layu for the contract signing ceremony of the Hillsborough Bridge. Starts at 4 p.m. And that will take it to our marathon minister, the end of our marathon? For now. For now, okay. Okay, with a light break. Okay, PM, noted. All right, so once again, thank you everybody for coming, and do have a very good afternoon and safe travels home. We have some light snacks towards the back, so feel free to have something, please. Good afternoon once again. Bye.